Color Me Poetry, and I'm Daddy Queen, and welcome to Color Me Poetry. I'd like to welcome my most beautiful guest, Miss Dr. Vida Gaynor. And you are the creator of the brand new video for children, and it's called The People Could Fly.
The People Could Fly.
Tell us about it. I mean, you're a clinical psychologist?
Yes, I'm a clinical psychologist.
And you've never done anything like this before?
I've never, ever done anything like this before. But as a clinical psychologist, I realized that a lot of the problems that our people have come from the very negative images that they are fed in the major media. And I have seen young people, particularly young men, that are drowning in despair and hopelessness, and it's because they don't know who they are. They don't know the power that they have within them. 4 years ago, I was looking for some Afrocentric educational videos for my grandchildren, and I couldn't find anything anywhere.
Almost impossible.
Even, yes. Not even in Pyramid Bookstore, you know, which is up to date on everything.
That's right.
So it occurred to me that there's nothing out there. And I mulled over it and mulled over it and mulled over it. And in a meditation one morning, you know, the thought just came, well, why don't you do something? As a clinical psychologist, I had no idea what to do. But as I talked it over with my friends and with my mentor, the thought just said, well, why don't you try and create something that will help black children especially, but, you know, this has relevance for children of all races.
So it just came to you?
It just came to me. And as I talked about it and talked about it, one of my friends said, you know, there's a new book out called The People Could Fly, and it's full of African-American folk tales. And I had not seen the book, but I ran right out and got it. And the very last folk tale in The People Could Fly is the folk tale of The People Could Fly. There are about 40 folk tales in that book. And that just seemed to me to exemplify, you know, all that I wanted to say to young people, that you have the power within you to do whatever you want to do.
So this project became an obsession?
It became an obsession.
As well as an inspiration?
As well as an inspiration. And finally, 2 weeks ago, at Howard University's Blackburn Center, we had our video premiere.
And it was fantastic. It was great.
Well, thank you very much.
And thoroughly enjoyed it, really. And I think this video should go all over the country, really all over the world. Because, you know, that's so very important to have. Like you saying, I don't think we can stress that enough here today or any other time about those negative images and how we need to have those positive images. Positive self-images for black children, for children in general, but particularly for black children.
Exactly. Because all they see are things that make them feel dehumanized, things that make them not proud of themselves. And our children need to feel proud of themselves, like every other group wants their children to feel proud of themselves, and to know that they can do whatever they want to do, that they have the power within them, the God presence within them, to help them to star and to be absolutely successful. I
think that our children, and particularly black people in general, have been robbed of a sense of self by the society in which we live because we're victims.
Exactly.
You know? And there are people who say, well, you shouldn't say that. But I'm just speaking the truth. A lot of times we don't want to deal with our past. We don't want to deal with slavery because it's painful.
Yes. And there is a segment in the video, as you remember, that deals with the question of slavery. Because many of us in the diaspora are disunited from our roots in Africa. We're disunited from ourselves. And in the video, the teacher, you know, who was running an audition for a black cultural festival, she showed the children who were bickering among themselves. There was an African-American group, an African-Caribbean group, and an African group. And each of them thought that they were better than the other.
That's right.
And she showed them, you know, what had happened to us as a people during the Middle Passage. And that was the beginning of healing among these groups of children. So, yes, it's important that we realize and deal with where we have been.
I liked how she took the time to show them that, through example, that we are the same people.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
I mean, you're not better than him because he happens to be from Africa, the continent, the diaspora, and then some of us from the Caribbean and some of us from the United States.
But you see, that's the way we have been disunited. When you disunite people, when you try and have them at loggerheads with each other, then you can rule them.
And I can understand the children not understand that. Sometimes we as adults don't understand
They
that.
have not been taught. They have not been taught what slavery was like for black people for 350 years. You know, the education that they get about slavery is so superficial. It is so superficial. It doesn't show the kind of dehumanization that took place among us. And so we need to deal with it. We need to look at it and see where we've been and see how we survived that. And if we could survive that, we can survive anything.
And I agree with you. I couldn't agree with you more, because when I look at the Jewish community, they don't let you forget, and they will not let you forget about the Holocaust.
Exactly.
They talk about it as if it happened yesterday.
Yes.
And we need to deal with slavery in the same way and prepare ourselves to deal with it and learn from that experience.
Yes. While the Jews talk about the Holocaust that they suffered, and I don't demean that or diminish it, but they talk about 6 million people. We talk about 100 million people. We talk about a real Holocaust that had decimated Africa and that really dehumanized a whole race of people. And it has not stopped yet. I mean, there's still a Holocaust that's going on. There's a Holocaust that's going on in our neighborhoods.
In the streets?
Everywhere, everywhere. There is no area, as Dr. Wilson says, of people activity where this does not go on, where there's a genocidal attempt, you know, to rid the world of black people.
And what's more, some of us haven't think, oh, well, it's just something that happened. No, it's by design.
Exactly.
It's not something that just happened.
It isn't something that just happened. It is by design. But we don't have to give in to that. We don't have to see ourselves as just victims.
That's right.
You know, we can see ourselves as victorious over any attempt to decimate us. We've been here. We've been here for 1 million years. And we will be here.
1 million plus, probably.
That's right. And we need to understand that we have the power to survive. Not only survive, but to thrive, too.
You know, I heard Dr. Aneem Akbar say that as a black person, we're not really supposed to be sitting here sane. We're supposed to be insane, really.
I don't
That's
think
all
there's
that we've been
any
through.
group of people that has suffered the way that black people have suffered and are still here. I mean,